I decided a long time ago I'm not having any children, but I've never been the type of person that thinks that people who do have children are miserable, because I can see the appeal. Because I remember when my niece and my two nephews were born, especially my first nephew, we were all so excited, and they, ever since then, like they really do bring a lot of joy and laughter and excitement into your lives. Like, kids are not all, they're not just miserable all the time. Like, kids are actually a joy to be around. I really do love kids, but it's really the best feeling to be able to have that love and joy and excitement, and they're not your kids. That's really the best part.
Can all my women in their 30s tell me what it's like to not have kids?
Hi, I'm 33 and I have no kids. And I have no kids by choice. And I don't want kids. I personally don't think this creator did anything wrong having kids in her 30s. I don't think there is a perfect time to have kids. I don't think you'll ever be ready to have kids. As long as you wanted kids, then you're good. You're solid. The kids are going to be just fine. You're going to be just fine. But me personally, I don't want kids. I've never wanted kids. You see my house, it's beige as fuck because I don't have kids. My dog, she's not here right now, but she's beige. She fits the aesthetic. I don't, I'm too selfish to have kids, plain and simple. I'm too selfish to have kids. And that's just because I was raised in a Latino household where I practically raised my brothers and sisters, including my mom. I raised her too. So I've been raising people my entire life. I don't want to do it anymore. My mom has scarred me from ever wanting children. My mom says that when I was like 15, even, or probably even younger, I always said that I don't want kids. I don't want kids. I don't want, like, I can't imagine the life that I live now. And it's not like I do anything wild. It's not like a fucking going out every single day. I truly like my peace. My house is always quiet. Listen, when my sister, I have a 10-year-old sister. When my sister says, Vicky, I want to, but I'm not. Can you imagine if that was mommy? I simply can't do it. Shout out to all the mothers out there doing it, killing it, single mothers. I was raised by a single mother like you guys. You guys are the bomb.com. But me, simply, I could never do it. I just can't do it. I don't want to do it. I choose not to do it. I'm too selfish with my time. I don't care what the men on this app got to say. Oh, you look old. No man's ever going to want you anyway. I don't care. Pookie, I simply don't care. Look at me. I'm so happy. I can't do it, but it's not for me. My life's great. And I don't think women that have children, I don't think your life sucks. And I don't understand this beef between women that have children and women who don't have children. Like, you guys want to rave about your kids. I love that for you. I want to rave about the fact that I don't have kids and I never will. So I think we should just unite, love each other, say fuck them kids together.
I really want to highlight on this "my man is child-free too" part. When I first decided that I did not want kids ever, I also had the idea in the back of my head that me making that decision meant that in most cases I probably wasn't going to be able to get married. Because I was told for so many years, hey, no man out there doesn't want kids. And so if you want to marry a man, you're going to have to suck it up and give him some children because that's what he's going to want. So I was like, fuck it, guess I'm never getting married. And as time has gone on, I'm figuring out that there's a whole lot of people out here, including men, who are like, yeah, no, don't want kids, I'm good. Comments like this give me hope. Because I'm not the type of person that can be like, oh yeah, well, my partner can want kids or not want kids. They can be indecisive about it. No, my partner has to be as against kids as I am. Otherwise, it's not going to work. Because at some point, at any point, you could change your mind and be like, never mind, I want kids. And that's not something that I'm ever going to change my mind about. I feel like I have a little bit of hope now. And the greatest thing about it is this number is like increasing every single day. More and more people are like, yeah, no, fuck them kids, I'm good. It's a beautiful thing to see. Especially with people who are like older in age. Like, you're a couple of years younger than my mother. The same woman who told me, hey, if you want to get married, you're gonna have to suck it up and give that man some children. I don't care if you don't want them or not. He's gonna want them. So thank you.
Men wanting babies is like kids wanting a puppy. It's cute, but you know you'll wind up doing all the work. This is by far the best description I have ever heard describing most men wanting children. Men are so insistent on having kids, but they don't want the work that comes with it. I find that a majority of men do not actually want the responsibility of taking care of a child. They just want the title of dad or father, and they just want to say, yeah, I continue my bloodline, I continue my legacy. But majority of the time, they do not do as much as the work as the woman or like the mom does. I absolutely think that for most cases, the responsibility is put on the woman, like from baby to like adulthood, because it's like the woman is usually the woman is usually the one that has to like change the diaper and feed the baby and like bathe the baby and like wash the clothes and do all this and like do everything for the baby and the man, because usually the man is incompetent and can't do anything by themselves. I've heard so many stories where it's like the children are school aged and the children or the mom has to get the kids up, get them ready to go to school, get their lunches packed, get them out the door, get them to school on time, as well as wake up the husband and make the husband lunch and make sure he has everything he needs to go to lunch or to go to work and blah, blah, blah. And it's like everything falls on the woman, and that is not fair. Men, y'all really need to do better, okay? It's not just on the woman to take care of the child, okay? The child is also yours, so you also need to take responsibility and help with your kids.
This is something that I see a lot of like child-free by choice people do. And it is the whole, well, it's not my responsibility, it's the parents' responsibility. I shouldn't have to raise your kids. I didn't want to have kids. I didn't have kids because I didn't want to take care of them, so why should I take care of your kids? Stuff like that, like where it's basically just saying like, how dare you burden me with your children? And a lot of the times this is said about like existing in public spaces with children. Like, I shouldn't have to go to a restaurant and listen to your kid.
I'm not going to be responsible for children that I did not give birth to. Okay? I don't know where people are getting this whole, oh, we don't want to see children in public spaces. Are you telling me that there are people who leave the house and don't expect to see children in the grocery store or the library or the park or the city bus or the beach or an ice cream shop? Are you telling me that there are people who leave the house and don't expect that? Because I feel like y'all are really full of shit. Because why the hell would anybody, child free or not, leave the house and go, I better not see any children today? Ma'am, I know you fucking lying.
I'm probably going to get a lot of hate for this because I always get a lot of hate when I talk about child-free stuff, but I'm going to say it anyway. I can't imagine having kids right now or wanting to have kids in the current US and world climate. I can't imagine having to explain what's going on to a small child. I'm a sex educator. I get awkward talks. I get challenging talks. I understand that. But in the age of social media where this is all around us and it's constant and it seems to be more than mudslinging, it's vitriol, I couldn't do it. Like, so much of me is glad that I don't want kids, partially because of that. That's not the only reason that I don't want kids. I could give you the laundry list, even though you're not owed that. But I feel like millennials especially more and more are being more vocal about their choice to remain child-free. And between student loan debt and inflation and the current political climate, it's just becoming too much. So what do you think? Do you agree? Do you hate me? What is the deal? Because lots of men seem to hate me, so, you know.
There's some things about being child-free that I don't think the child-free community talks about a lot, or maybe this is just how I feel, but there are some fears that I have and some of the reasons why I do not want to have kids. And I just wanted to give the three that I feel like, yeah, I'm really scared. I am really scared, and I'm not a risk taker. I have no intention of changing these fears. These fears will live forever, and for those of you who go down this path, more power to you. First big fear about having kids is that I don't want to give my kids a bad dad. And I'm talking about the entire spectrum of bad dadness. I'm talking about absent, doesn't call them, doesn't even acknowledge their existence to. He's in the house, but he doesn't participate. You know, he's not a good dad. You know what I mean? And like, they tell us to pick better. And the stress of picking better has me picking none. Because Why is it on me? But I feel like I would get mad at me. I know myself. If I have like the kind of one who like makes the kids wait to pick them up and like they sit at the door waiting for dad to come and he doesn't come, it's not my fault. But I know I'll be mad at me. And I'm so scared. I can't have that happen to me. And the only way to prevent that is to not participate at all. Yeah. Yeah. Before you start saying, oh my gosh, Shalom, just fix that and you'll be fine. There's part one of why I do not want kids. It's pinned. I'm wearing orange. Number two is that I cannot risk my kid dying before me. Of course, this is completely out of my control. I have control issues. I'm not sure if you've been able to figure that out, but yeah. Now, for like I've never had kids. I've never lost a kid, but I feel comfortable saying that the worst pain possible is losing a child. I'm not sure if you guys have ever heard that wail, that cry when a parent finds out that their child is dead. I never ever want to, oh, don't cry, on a platform, on the internet, get it together. I never want to hear that noise again. It is, anyway, yeah, I can't risk the world taking my child because no, I can't cry like that. And last but not least, I assure you, I can't trust you guys. You people who are out there raising your kids in horrendous ways while I'm putting in all the effort. By the way, I haven't put in any effort, but hypothetically speaking, I've put in a lot of effort to raise my kid well, and they have one interaction with you and you ruin my hard work. Like, I hear things about like your kid was very nice and then they started school and then they got bullied and then they got mean and then it's like could we all just do better? But anyway, who am I to judge? I don't have kids. But yeah, those are my three very, very serious fears about having kids. And it's one of the reasons why I won't have any, because these three things are out of my control, kind of ish.
So I just got done with a hearing in Fort Worth, but real quick, I want to tell you about one of my favorite clients that I've ever had. And if you're child-free and have ever wondered about an elderly woman's opinion on being child-free, you should listen to this. So my client is she's like 5 foot nothing, has this sleek silver bob, super stylish, super confident, like homegirl's got it going on. And she's got the most fascinating life story. So she's widowed now, but her and her husband had traveled all over the world. She has started different businesses. She has started different foundations. She's a published author, an artist, a philanthropist. Like, she still teaches painting lessons. Just the most interesting, inspiring woman, just super neat. So during our conversation, I learned that she never had children. And I asked her, this is not relevant, and do not feel obligated to respond, but do you have any regrets about not having kids? And she looks at me with just this, like, I don't know, I can only describe it as like a very peaceful, knowing smile. Like, she has been asked this question before, and she told me not a single one. She said, I love the children in my life, my nieces and nephews' kids, that's all great, but I always knew that I couldn't have the life that I wanted or had the relationship with my husband that I did if I had had kids. And I'm 33, I'm happily married, happily child-free, but it's always so interesting to talk to somebody else who has chosen that same life path as me and is a lot further down the road, and to have them report back that, like, it's really good, you're on the right path. I don't know, just an interesting talk, and maybe somebody will find it helpful.
Now, the single demographic that seems to get the most triggered by child-free content is definitely mothers. I'm not saying fathers don't get triggered by that kind of content, and I'm not saying all mothers, but I'm saying that the one type of demographic that seems to get the most triggered is mothers. Fathers, for me, they don't seem to get as triggered. They're the ones who actually start following me as soon as I start posting child-free content. Do with that what you will. I'm currently child-free, and sometimes I listen to certain mothers talk about motherhood and how, especially on Mother's Day, especially those Mother's Day Instagram posts, today is so important to me because I'm the family cleaner, I'm the family cook, I'm the family chauffeur, I'm the family teacher. Then when you turn around and say that you love being child-free, they'll be like, why? And they don't seem to realize the amount of labor that goes into child rearing that some people just don't want to sign up for. Other times they'll talk about, you know, how much they do for their household and how much it takes a toll on them and, you know, how proud they are of what they're doing. And it is something to be proud of. But you can't now turn around and see someone like me who's solo traveling 12 times a year, 11 times a year, and be like, I have that lifestyle too. I travel all the time without my kid. But you said that you work so hard for your family. You said that nobody works harder for their family than you. So how are you able to live the same life as me? Now, every so often I'll post child-free content and I will get a comment of a different variation of this. It's very similar all the time. Why do single childless people spend so much time and energy telling us why they are so happy? Just be happy in peace. No need to convince anybody. I didn't have kids until I was in my 30s, but before that, I sure didn't spend my time going on and on about how spontaneous and free I was. She doth protest too much and all that. I'm not sure if they realize this, but it very much gives, I know you're happy and it's annoying, so just be happy over there where I can't see you. Just be happy and quiet. Be happy and shut up because I can't deal with your joy. I actually follow a lot of family content as well. I have no issue with people sharing their joy. It doesn't trigger me, but it would trigger me if that's something I wanted. But when some of these mothers post these types of comments, it's so interesting to me. Always say, why do you feel like you have to share that you're happy being child-free? A lot of mothers, especially in those early 2 or 3 years, post their children like maybe every week, at least. They post their outings, they post, updates on how their babies are getting on with teething and like breastfeeding and all sorts. Like, we don't say this to anyone else. We don't say this to people who have finally welcomed home a new puppy or have bought a new home or have gone on holiday. But if someone has a certain lifestyle that's different to yours and includes children, all of a sudden they should be quiet and they shouldn't be posting and they shouldn't be talking about it. Very strange. And maybe it's the whole thing of like being child-free for so long has been seen as a negative thing. It's been seen as lacking, like you're childless. And so you shouldn't be boasting about something that you don't have because society sees that you're in a deficit. But we are reframing that. It doesn't have to be like that now.
Don't let anybody tell you that choosing to be child-free by choice is not a good way to live a life. I was just talking to my brother and he was telling me about a couple that he knows that their parents were pressuring them about when they were going to be grandparents. They had a baby probably sooner than they would have liked, and now they're stuck paying like $1,500 a month on childcare. Meanwhile, the parents are like, okay, it's your kid. Now, I understand it's a parent's responsibility to take care of their kid, but the point is that so many of us get pressured into having kids, A, sooner than we want to, and B, just at all. Like, I have never wanted to have kids, and I have felt such a pressure from society to have kids because it's the love you'll never know. And that's just not true. This is not a dig on anybody who wants to be a parent. A lot of my friends are having kids and I love being an aunt. I have built a beautiful life for myself sans kid. I have my career, I have hobbies, I have free time, I've spent really healing myself. I focus on my personal growth. I get to see my friends. I get to make time for developing new adult friendships. I have time to develop adult hobbies, and there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with having a life. You can have a very rich life without kids, just not talked about in our society. And it's BS. It's BS to think that the only way that you can fulfill yourself is to get married and to have kids. That is just some corporate propaganda to get you to have more kids, to continue to pump minions into a system that now is not working for us.
It's just always got to be that one person. When I said isolation, it wasn't an assumption I was making as a child-free woman. I've quite literally seen a plethora of mothers insist that motherhood is very isolating. If it's not isolating for you, then that's great, because the last thing I would want is for mothers to feel isolated. But the fact of the matter is I've seen a lot of women insist otherwise. And if you're somebody that wants to be a mom, then I imagine having no kids would sound miserable to you. Just like I am somebody who does not want kids, and motherhood sounds miserable to me. So I understand that you meant that as like a jab, but that's sort of a given. The reasons you listed up here for having kids, to me, sounds very selfish, because personally, I don't feel like kids should be created in order to give your life meaning. or to be your caretaker in old age, or because you have a fear of being alone. Furthermore, I never really understood this assumption that child-free people are automatically going to be lonely or are lonely, because we do have friends and families and partners. So,
oh sweetie, you're never gonna know what real love is unless you turn yourself into a baby factory. Just another comment we get when we tell people that we don't want to ever have kids, right? It's not the flex y'all think it is either, right? Because when you guys say, I never knew true love, or I never felt this kind of love until I had my kid, or until I had my kids, it's actually a really sad commentary on your life. And I don't think you realize it. Like, to your children, they may think, oh, my mom really loved me, because without me, you know, she probably would have jumped off a cliff or something, right? To them, it may sound cute, but it's actually sad, because what it tells me and other child-free women is that you didn't really love yourself or value your life before you had kids. And the reason why that's problematic is because now you're looking to your children to give you meaning in life. Now, while that's not completely a bad thing, it's not all the way a good thing either, right? Because you are depending on a baby to give you meaning in life. And here we are being child-free, and we don't have that level of emptiness in our lives where it's like, oh, I need something to love. I need somebody to love me. Oh, let me go put that burden and responsibility on an innocent kid. Like, we're not doing that. We wake up every day and we live our lives, and we're not feeling like something's missing to the point where we're going to force another child, innocent child, into this rat hole that we call life, right? And subject them to all the same things that that we've been complaining about this whole time. What do you think they're going to do when they get of age? What do you think they're going to do? Because to me, they're going to literally complain about the same stuff on top of the added things that are going to be coming in the future, right? So it's really not the flex you think it is to say, oh, my life had no meaning before I had kids. It's like, it didn't. I don't have kids, and my life has all the meaning that I give it. And when I'm in my old age, if I live to be that long, to be old, like I said in previous videos, I'm not gonna look back at 2024 and be like, God damn it, I should have forced kids into existence with them not having any say so. Like, that's just not gonna happen, y'all. I know y'all wanted to, because you want child-free, a lot of y'all want child-free women to regret their decision, because it's gonna make you feel like you made the right choice in your life. And you probably did. I mean, I don't know, right? I can't tell somebody what they did right or what they didn't do or whatever, but that's the reason why I know y'all come down hard on us, is because you need to feel like your choice was validated, and it will give you some kind of purpose in life, or some kind of like joy, I guess, at the end of the night or in the morning when you wake up, to know that you made a decision that other people regret not making. And it's just not the case. To this very day, I have yet to meet a child-free woman that regretted not having kids. I have not met or known of one woman to regret not having kids. Now, I have heard of childless women regretting not having kids. I say all the time, those are two different things, right? The ones who wanted kids but didn't have them at some point in time, or they wanted to wait until they met the right person, or fertility issues or whatever, those are childless women. Child-free women have made the decision to not have kids for a multitude of reasons. So the ones who actively made that choice and said, hey, I ain't doing it, what regret? And you can look at other child-free creators' comment sections, my comment sections, and under all my child-free videos, YV Edit, Wild She, Whitney, Mikey, I think I'm saying her name right. There's a bunch of us that are child-free, and in the comment sections are a bunch of parents saying they wish they could have did things over, or the child-free women that are in their 40s, 50s, 60s, and 70s even are like, nah, I didn't have kids and I don't regret it. So there's that. But yeah, it's not the flex y'all think it is. I really wish y'all would stop saying that, because you're just gonna make us feel sorry for you. Because like, if something happened to your kid or your kids, it's like, then what do you have? If your only purpose in life was your kids, and now that they're unalived, or they don't speak to you anymore, or they move to another country, now what do you have? And that's why self-love and self-preservation and all that is so important. But that's just to give y'all something to think about. We don't see that as endearing. We see it as a sad commentary on your life.
Hey, how was your weekend? Oh, it was good. It was kind of busy. Ooh, what did you do? I mean, like, nothing super exciting. The kids woke up super early on Saturday, so we just packed them up and took them to the park. This is exactly why I don't want to have kids. Oh yeah, like the waking up early? No, like the fact that you always bring up that you have kids. Oh, well, I mean, I do, and I live with them, and I nurture them and raise them and do everything for them, so I'm sorry, I didn't mean to bring them up. You asked me what I did, and I happened to be doing something with them. No, like, literally get the girl with the list, because that is my worst fear, is making that my whole personality trait and making that the only thing I want to talk about. Again, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to bring them up or, like, talk about it, but you asked me what I did, and I was with my kids. Ugh, well, don't ask me if I ever want kids, because I don't. No, yeah, you've said that a couple times, and that's totally okay. And before you say anything, don't say, you might change your mind when you're older, because I'm not going to. No, yeah, that's totally fine. A few years ago, I didn't know if I wanted kids or not either. Yeah, but we're not the same, because then you did end up having kids, and I'm not gonna change my mind. I'm not gonna decide to have kids. That's yeah, that's good. I like that. I feel like we're talking about kids more than we need to now. What did you do this weekend? Oh my god, I'm so glad you asked. I went hiking with my dog, and I want you to stand there and stare at these 50 pictures of my dog on a mountain. Okay. Yeah, my doggos are my kids. I don't want real kids. I don't want real babies. Don't ask me if I want real babies. I don't want real babies. I have babies. These are my babies. These are my children. I have dogs. They're my babies.